All right, we're live. I'm so excited. It's our first live together, Sarah. And hi, nice to see you today. I feel like I was just with you because I was doing your 10-minute meditation before I actually got on the live today, just to calm my nerves down and get centered. I wake up with you every day on the retailu wellness course.
Awesome.
So anyway, I'm really excited. My name's April. If you're following me on LinkedIn, that's where I spend a lot of my time. I have a huge retail network, and I am really excited to actually start this weekly broadcast. It's going to be 12 o'clock every week, quick half an hour. And it's my aim is really to keep building the retail community and bringing us together. Last year, there was a lot of walls that kind of got broken down, and the retail community came together more than ever in such a challenging year. And so my goal is with this broadcast every Wednesday is just to keep bringing that retail community together. I know people like Ron Thurston that's doing the same thing, and there's some really great retail influencers that have kind of emerged in the last year, like writing books and doing podcasts and things like that. And I just feel thrilled and really happy to be a part of this, this community at this time, actually. And so the positive effect is all about that. It's about talking about retail. It's talking about careers. I'm going to feature some amazing retail leaders and talk about their careers and how they got where they did. People used to ask me that all the time. How did you become a vice president of a retailer when you started off as a sales manager? So I want to share that. But today, I think what I'm really excited about is to bring on Sarah Hauch, she's an international wellness coach, meditation teacher, because I got to know Sarah about 2.5 years ago, I want to say now, and you built us an amazing wellness course on retailu. And we had a bunch of retail leaders get together and go through this course. And, people ask me questions all the time. They're like, they're stressed and they're challenged with what's going on. And I think wellness in retail is something that we haven't really made it a focus, I want to say. When I think back to wellness in retail, I think about, dialing a hotline of Mono Chappelle, which is like, not super helpful, right? I mean, it is. It's good to have those things in your business, but there's so much more that we could do. And so it's a fresh new year and a fresh new perspective. And we've all been through a lot. So Sarah, if you want to introduce yourself, share a little story about who you are and why you're here, and then we'll jump into talking about wellness and retail.
Okay, sounds great. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Hauch. As April said, I'm an international teacher. I run a corporate meditation as well as personal meditation and wellness center in Winnipeg, Manitoba, but I fly all over to work with people and to support them in understanding themselves so that because as within, so without. So everything that you are on the inside, it is mirrored and reflected on the outside. So today we're going to talk about that. And I wanted to be really transparent this morning, and I asked April if I could share a story. And, I'm a new mom. My son is 3 months old. And this morning, like everything that went wrong could go wrong. Like he was crying and he was freaking out. And my he's trying to work. And all my clients are texting me, and my staff is messaging me saying, this is happening and this is happening. And my phone's reminding me I have 300 unread emails, and those text numbers going up and up, your heart starts racing. And I didn't want to let April down, and I didn't want to let this community down. And I got into the shower 30 minutes before I had to get on here, and I thought to myself, this must be how people in retail are feeling right now. There is an unbelievable amount of pressure on everyone to maintain morale in the team. There's layoffs are happening, people aren't working, or people are working too much, and you're trying to maintain numbers in a pandemic. And I just thought, what a perfect opportunity for me to be in this space to remind myself of what the stress is like for other people. And I just took myself in the shower and I said, okay, Sarah, use your tools. Calm yourself down, take some breaths, do a quick meditation, and just remember that you're in service. 2020 taught me that being of service has never been more important. And for all the managers and senior managers and everyone in retail right now, they are being asked, my understanding from you, they're being asked to be in such a higher level of service. And if you're in a higher level of service, wellness has to be a main priority, because you can't give what you don't have.
So true. And I really like the story that you just shared. Like, I took a 10-minute meditation this morning too, right? Like, because, it's first live, we're getting on and things are going wrong. And like, you're right. It is such a service industry, retail. And right now we're all in service to more of our peers, our team members, people with homeschooling kids, or people in the stores. It's I get heightened stress on them with the complexities that are going on, right? So it's just, sometimes it's that reminder, right? Like that you just said. Hey, I'm just going to say hi to some people just jumping on. So hi, Fabiani. Nice to see you. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Chris. Welcome to our first live on Retail U. So sorry, Sarah. Yeah, it's a good perspective though, right?
Yeah. And, why you and I created the meditation program, because there's many aspects of wellness, and we're going to talk about that today. But when you can master your mind, you can master anything. And so I'm excited to talk about that today with you.
Yeah, I believe that. Like when I wrote The Positive Effect, it talks about in the second pillar, which is create, it's all about mastering your mind and meditation and being mindful, right? And like, how do you then kind of empty your mind to like create the things that you want to do or problem solve? Because when I think about the retail community and what we do, it's really hard to describe it. Like we do so many things in one day. Like I was on Ron's chat the other day on Saturday morning, and it was like, it's one of the most underestimated kind of careers. And you try and explain it to somebody, then you kind of feel like, I just work in retail. But then retail shapes, hey, Denisha, nice to see you. So, but retail shapes leaders, it shapes people, it shapes life skills. Like when you work in retail, you learn so much. Hey, Adriana, nice to see you. Yeah, it is stressful, right? Yeah, working for a retail landlord. It's really super complicated. So it was already busy, multitasking. The speed of retail was already happening in the last 3 to 5 years of what I saw. But last year just accelerated everything even more. So wellness is something that has to become part of your strategy. It has to become a part of your conference calls. It has to become a part of your one-on-one touch bases with your teammates, with your peers, with your leaders. Like you have to start talking about this. So this is why I am so excited to bring you on, Sarah, not just to talk about meditation, right? Because we had a Retail U meditation challenge. That was kind of like a dabble in the wellness. And that was different for us because, generally on Retail U, we have like problem solving, communication, team building, and all these competencies that we teach. But we realized that there was something missing and that we wanted to bring this kind of holistic approach into being an amazing leader. Because in my career, in my life, that's been a part of what's made me successful. And people always ask me that, what's made you successful? I think being mindful, having those wellness practices, putting myself first, and trust me, it's an everyday journey because in retail, we always put everybody else first. Every manager, retail leader, probably watching this live is nodding their heads right now. It's like their customers come first, their team comes first, and then they go home and they've got families, some of them, and it's always being in service. And we are driven by that. Hey, Roxanne, nice to see you. So we're driven by that, right? Of like that in service. So we really forget about ourselves. And so, or it becomes like another task, another thing that we have to get done. And then it's like another kind of pile on your shoulders of having to do something. So I want to explore wellness and really talk about today what your kind of, how you see wellness. There's a lot of different live conversations right now about mindfulness and books being written, but share with us what you see wellness as and talk to us about what you did, because you created some really amazing back then, some really forward thinking programs. And I think now is the time for retail to start embracing this kind of thinking.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, if 2020, when I speak to some of my staff and the therapists that work for me, that 2020 took us out of our window of anxiety. So all of us are okay handling this much anxiety. But with 2020 and the pandemic, it just threw us out of this window of anxiety. And what happened when we're thrown out of a window of anxiety are, for lack of a term, I'll call them our weaknesses, their buttons get pushed. So on top of all the stresses that we have to deal with at home, in our finances, with our staff, with our work, with our own mental health, all of those buttons that push us on our worst days are just being pushed every minute of every day. So 2020 really showed us what we're made of, and that could be a really positive thing if you use it to your advantage. So when I was 21, I ran my own personal training company, and I was asked by one of my clients who owns he at the time was CEO of Price, so an HVAC company, one of the world's largest HVAC companies. And he asked me to create a wellness program. And I said, Joe, I don't know anything about corporate wellness. What are you asking of me? I make people good looking, like. But he said, I believe in you. Come into my work and do this. I'll give you 3 months. If you create something that we like, we'll keep you on. And so I researched wellness, and I looked at all the programs that were happening all over North America. We traveled all over Canada looking at different companies. And the one thing that I noticed with all the companies 15 years ago was that health was the pillar of wellness. And companies were, especially American companies, will dump as much money into wellness as we can so that we don't get as many sick days. And, let's get their blood pressure better and their heart rate better, and let's get them fitter. And I remember I was driving and I saw a homeless man, and I thought to myself, that guy just does not care if he got his 5 fruits and vegetables in today. Like, he just doesn't. That's so out of what his scope of his reality. Right. And so I thought wellness has to be something more than just physical. And I started looking at the different aspects of people's lives and what's important to them. And even as a personal trainer, people would come to me and say, I have to lose weight. And I say, okay, well, why do you have to lose weight? And when once you break a person down, they're like, oh, because I want my husband to think I'm good looking. And then I probe deeper. I'm like, well, why are you fighting? Well, because we have money issues. And so the reality is she doesn't have a body image problem. Right. She has a thinking problem. Right. And so wellness is a wheel. And if one wheel is out of balance, all the wheels are out of balance. It's like Chinese medicine. If one organ is out of balance, all your organs are out of balance. And so I created this, honestly, kind of like a first of its kind corporate wellness program that incorporated this wheel of wellness and really instilled in the staff that the company believed that all aspects of wellness were really important.
Hey, Deidre, just saw you join. Nice to see you. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Actually, when I think back to a retailer I worked probably about 10 years ago, 2009 now, where me and Jane, my business partner at retailu, met, we actually went after exactly what you said, like a health program. And we tracked on the wall because, in retail, we love results. We're action junkies. We're a bit like, yeah, I want a result. I want to track it. I want to be the best. I'm competitive because that's just the nature of sales in us. But we had this big chart on the wall, and it was all about what we were going to eat, drink more water, like be healthy. And it was kind of related to that, what you're just saying, right? And it was all about weight loss and like getting in shape, but it wasn't really addressing anything else. So I love what you're saying.
Yeah, and the company, everyone loves being competitive. And so we had an IT guy create a program, and every month we focused on a different wellness, and we put people into teams. So it was kind of fun. They were competing against each other. Right. It was on the honor system, but the first month was physical wellness. So they would get points for, did you work out? Did you, what did you eat? Did you get water in? Did you sleep? But then it became the emotional month. So it was spending time with family, not in front of the television, or did you take a bath for yourself? Or what did you do for yourself? And every month there was points, and the team that won got prizes. And so it was really fun. And I love that the company supported us in this.
That's amazing. So I'm going to bring up your wellness wheel right now, right on the screen. So bear with me because this is my first live. So I'm going to do my best to share it. Jane's not giving me any nudges right now on the private chat, so it's all good. So I'm going to just bring this up because I think this is a really great visual for people to see, right? So do you want to walk us through this actual visual?
Sure. So I didn't want to make it super overwhelming. My Wheel of Wellness had 8 circles, but I just made this with 6. So in the download, if anyone wants to download it, it basically just says, how do you categorize, 6 or 8 different categories in your life that are really important to you? And this is really what's so important about this is like when you're creating corporate wellness or talking about wellness to people, people prioritize things differently. And all people are different, and you can't really create one model for all people. So in the download, you get to decide what's important to you. So physical wellness, I have on here, mental wellness, creative health, financial, family, and spiritual. And then I gave an example for each of what is one thing that you can do in each of these areas of your life right now. And in the download, I also gave an example. If you don't want to work on all of them, just start with one. And we are really, we love to focus on what we're good at. That gives us the dopamine releases. It makes us feel good, but you're only as strong as your weakest link. And so why I like the Wheel of Wellness is to look at, if creativity is extremely important to you, but if you're not exploring that part of yourself, then you're always running on some kind of empty.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like I am a self-improvement junkie. I love reading. So I can spend hours reading and like meditating and self-help and leadership books and all that stuff. And then I look at this wheel and I'm like, ooh, financial, like, ooh. I'm going to be really vulnerable right now and say this year, at the beginning of this year, my daughter challenged me too. She's like, Mom, you're always reading like leadership books and sharing all of that, but like put yourself in an uncomfortable place. And I was like, okay, I'm going to add financial then to my learning list this year to get financially healthy in that area, because I know it stresses me out in my whole life, right? If I don't have that balance, like you say, like this wheel, this pieces of all of it.
Yeah, you could put social on here. For example, like if you're not good at boundary setting, if you're the kind of person that says yes to everyone and you're always burnt out, then boundary setting is going to be the first place you want to work on, or social.
That's really interesting because as being in retail for so long, and like I said earlier, and anybody that's watching this, there's a leader, they can agree with this, that they are not good at saying no. Okay. Like we say, we're in service to customers all day and to our team. So we're like servicing we're saying yes all the time. Somebody asks us something, we always take it on. And then what we do is teach people how to delegate and teach and educate and then pass on something to somebody else so that you're not burnt out at the end of the day. Because, me and Jane have this conversation all the time when we're thinking about content. It's like, it's like you're taking on so much and then you've got no space left and then you're just exhausted. And I particularly think that in retail right now, that is a big component of somebody being anxious in a store or anxious running a district, because it's just piling on. So that's a boundaries. I like that one. That's like an easy thing that you can just implement right away. That doesn't become like this other chore. It's just becoming more conscious of that, right? Like, is that what that is?
Yes. And really, when it comes to boundary setting, for example, it all comes down to knowing yourself and knowing what's important to you. So if you take this Wheel of Wellness, for example, like these are the areas of my life that are super important: my family, my physical health, my mental health, my finances, my career, my giving back, so AKA my spiritual wellness. And you use this as a guide for life. Setting boundaries is because when you're in service, you just want to say yes to everything. I want to serve, I want to serve, I want to serve. But the first person you have to serve is yourself.
Yeah.
And if you know what's important to you, like from this wheel, then you can say no to anything that isn't of this wheel. You know, like Joe
Mm.
from EH Price taught me this. I was an ambassador for Lululemon, and you know, the owner of Lululemon, he was really big on this. You have a list, and this is what's important to me, and you say no to anything that doesn't get you closer to that.
Right. Okay. So you got to really be conscientious. I mean, like when I saw this will, when you gave it to me, I was like, I'm going to post this on my wall and I'm going to put like, because, you know, I'm an action person. I'm all about like take something and then do something with it, not just think about it and like philosophize about it. And that's what I've loved about working in retail, because the thing about working in retail is you can see the results of your immediate action right away. You know, that's the one career I think that everybody that's in it, that's why they absolutely love it. So this is why this conversation is so important today, because you can do that with your wellness journey. You can put small practical things in your day, in your week, and like put it into your planner or whatever you do, your calendar, your phone reminders. There's so many ways of doing it that it doesn't have to become overwhelming. It can just be one thing, right?
Yeah, there are three currencies in life: time, money, and energy. And we're always exchanging one for the other. And again, if you're someone that really wants to master yourself, make the most of your life, be the most impactful, you have to be aware of our three currencies. You know, what are you spending your time doing or worrying about, for example? What are you spending your money on, and what are you putting your energy towards? And I think that I love the Wheel of Wellness because, if you aren't putting yourself as the center, most important thing of your life,
Yeah.
and you don't be selfish and you don't fill your cup up first, you're always going to be running on fumes. You have nothing to serve other people. Like, my favorite image is thinking of a cup completely full. That's me. And then everything that flows over this cup is what I give to other people.
Interesting. So thank you, Sarah, because this is just, I love working with you, with the Retail You community, because we're just bringing this in, which is so important, because what our mission is to build leaders. And you can't be a great leader, in my opinion, if you don't have self-care practices, because the other thing of that is people are always doing what they see you do. And role modeling and leading by example, we know in leadership, right, is so important, because what you do, other people will do. So you might think, well, it's okay, I'm going to take this wheel, I'm going to put an action plan in with my team, you know, but it's okay, I don't need to do it, right? Like, but I'm just going to get everybody else to do it because I care about them. But that's not the point, right? People do what you do. Like when I used to be a store manager a long time ago, I would work like crazy hours, and then my team started working crazy long hours. And I was like, you don't need to do that. But because I was doing it, they did it. It became an expectation. And I had to recognize that in myself and say, okay, because I'm doing it, they're doing it. And I don't want them to be burnt out. I want my team to be, you know, healthy, well, love coming to work. So I had to stop like working extra hours so I could get them to understand that. And I think that this is why this is an important conversation in the retail community about wellness, because there's many times the leader will say, yeah, well, I'll get this for my team, I'll do this for my team, but not really integrate it into how they're doing it, because they don't think it applies to them. So that's why I wanted to bring you on, because I've heard from so many people that they're just tired, exhausted, but it has to start with the leader of that team and that person. Or even if you're not a leader of a team and you're in a team, like role model it, right? Like role model it for your family, role model it for your kids, practice it, and then bring it to your team, right? And when I used to train retail leaders, they'd always be like, oh yeah, I want to take it right now. And I'm like, hold on a second, do it for 30 days yourself before you roll it out with somebody, because 30 days is going to create a habit in you. And then when you go to talk to other people about it, you're going to have more credibility because you're actually doing it yourself. You've been through the experience, just like you shared at the beginning of the live. You had the experience this morning of that overwhelming feeling. Once you've got it and you've been through it, then you can coach other people on it, right? It's so important, don't you think?
I really do. Like, I just like, I'm kind of like feeling out like who's on the call, what do they need to hear, and like if you don't think that you're important, if you're not making, like, we have an addiction to overworking, and we get lots of feel-good feelings from things outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I just hope that people will take away that your happiness is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And focusing on wellness, it really does allow you to give more.
Yeah.
It allows you to give more. And I'll use the energy word here, okay?
Yep.
Anybody, but your energy in a room speaks before you speak.
Mm.
And I think more than ever, people are becoming more sensitive to people being out of alignment and not integrous. And I think people can call that more.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so we have to, like you said, we have to bring things in through us first. That's how we inspire others.
Yeah. So what we've done, thanks, Deidre, 100%. It is. We talk about this all the time, right? Like 100%. We have to do that. So what I know, I can see some comments, right? I need this wheel. I need this wheel. Financial is my challenge. I can see like your comments coming on. I want to implement this. So what we've done with Sarah is on the event on retailu, on the company page, retailu on LinkedIn, on our page in the event, we have actually posted a wellness worksheet that Sarah created for us, because she always makes amazing content for the retailu members, and it's completely free, and you can just go ahead and download it. And then we have posted this wheel so that you can just save it as a picture, and like use it with your, save it in your phone, print it out, do whatever you want with it. And you can use it with your team, and you can really kind of think about this. How do you bring wellness and embrace like the wheel of wellness, into your life, and really practice it with yourself first before you take it to a team. But we've put it there for you because we want to start this conversation. And I know there may be other people that are on this live right now that are not in retail, and this is for you too. But I know I'm speaking from my heart because I'm a diehard retail girl, because I've been in it for so long. That's how I wanted to bring this conversation and bring this to this platform. And I'm just, thank you, Sarah, for sharing that, because it's super important. You're right. People do read energy, and that integrity of your energy, right? Like, it's coming out, like authenticity in leadership is being talked about more and more. The shift that the planet's going through, we could have a whole nother hour conversation on that. I'm not going into that today. But specifically, you retail people that joined this feed because you follow retailu and you follow me on LinkedIn, put yourself first, please. Take this. We're always about creating actionable tools that you can use in your life to make a difference. So take it and do something with it. Don't just, roll it out to your team and think it doesn't apply to you. Put yourself first, right? So we're coming up to about 27 minutes. We're going to wrap this up in about 3 to 4 minutes. If there's any questions that anybody has, if we don't answer them, you can put some into the chat right now if you have any questions for us. But we will be bringing Sarah back on to this broadcast, I'm pretty sure, every so often, to talk to us about, wellness and implementing it. And if you got any questions and we don't get to them because you had a thought after this live, maybe you watching this and I don't have any thoughts right now, this is great information, but you want to ask us some questions in the event tab on retailu, where this was scheduled. You can ask questions in there. There's a chat in there, actually, and you can ask a question in that chat, join that chat, and we can absolutely give you some coaching, some advice, and some answers through that chat on the retailu platform. So is there anything else, like before we wrap up this live, Sarah, that you want to share with my community?
Yes, I must. So, I was so grateful that Joe gave me that opportunity to create this program. And I just want to tell some benefits that the company saw. So first of all, not only did the company extend the program indefinitely, they asked me to develop it. They asked me to actually be the wellness manager, and I declined. And I wanted to do it for more people. So they hired someone, and they've made it the whole, oh, sorry, I have mom brain. Words are so hard. They made it the culture of the company. And because I work with all the managers privately, all the senior managers, and all the managers, why Joe kept the company, profits went up. When they did evaluation surveys, they showed that all staff members' stress has gone down. Everyone had lost weight. The morale in the company was better. Their top leaders said that they'd been asked by other companies to come over, and they stayed at Price because of the wellness program. Family life was better. So by incorporating this whole wheel of wellness, and not just pushing staff to be healthier physically, that the company grew. They believed in the program, and they actually started putting the program in all the different departments all over North America.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So it works.
Yeah, it works. Like I'm completely 100% sold on it. Like I know it works. So if you're on this live and you're like an individual manager or you manage a team, this is practical for you. If you're on this live or you see this posted somewhere else afterwards and you're part of a HR team or, a learning team that makes these decisions, or I don't know what kind of team makes the decisions to bring, or you're looking for a wellness program in your company right now, like get in touch with us, because you know what, like this is an amazing program that Sarah built 10 years ago. And yeah, we break it down for our retailu members so that, each individual can take an action away. But you know what, like this is going to keep being a priority. This needs to be a priority now, but it's going to keep growing even more as we get, changing and evolving the way that the workplace is today. Because people keep saying to me, we're going to go back to some kind of normal. I'm like, normal wasn't that great anyway, and we're never going back to normal. Now this is our time to like actually evolve and change. But that takes a little bit of rigor, and it takes a little bit of courage, right, to be able to do that. And I know you know that if you've ever taken over a team where you have to change the team or change something in that organization, it takes courage, and it takes a little bit of rigor. So I think courage and rigor for me is huge this year as we move into 2021 and making those decisions to bring this into the workplace, right?
Yeah.
So it does work. Absolutely. There's been studies of it, and you saw it firsthand, right? So yeah. So I'm going to just get rid of this wheel and just bring you back up so I can see your lovely face. And so yeah, there's that downloadable tool. And in that workbook, it's really cool because Sarah's kind of giving you like a little exercise, and she's giving you like a second sheet in there, which is all about thought. I'm not going to go into that now, but like switching your negative to your positive thought. And I love that exercise. I saw you do it on an Instagram live. And I actually, when I'm sitting down to do a task or get something done, I actually conscientiously now think about that. So make sure you download this worksheet because it's in there. And yeah, and that's really it for today, guys. So I just want to say thank you, Sarah, for being my first guest on the Positive Effect live stream. It's so great to see you as always.
I'm honored. Thank you so much for being here, or for letting me. Thank you for letting me be here.
Money brain, it's all good. All right, guys. So we'll see you on the next Positive Effect. So if you want to, make sure that you're following me on LinkedIn, you're following me on social channels, because this will pop up in your feeds and we'll be posting on the retailu page. And share this. It's going to be, thanks, Patricia. Thanks, Fabiani. Thanks, Deidre. Thanks, Roxanne, and all of you guys, and Ashana for like joining us. And share it with your retail community. And this is a great downloadable worksheet that the rest of the retail community could really benefit from. So with that, we're signing off for today. I'll see you next Wednesday on The Positive Effect. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.